This is Jonathan Ferguson, the Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett, and today we're taking another peek into Call of Duty's varied history and breaking down some of the weapons of infinite warfare.
Paused there, and it's quite a sight. So it's obviously Space Chris Vector, and as with other Call of Duty Vector adjacent guns, there's no space for the Super V. I nearly said Flying V then, that's a guitar. Operating system in there. This time, because they've crammed 2 magazines into it.
You can watch the extended edition of this episode, as well as get next week's episode 1 week early by signing up to our Patreon right now. Link in the description below for that. But without further ado, over to Jonathan.
That a Volk Rifle?
Energy weapon. Just got the scan from the surface. Couldn't wait to print this bad boy out.
The mysteriously named Volk.
He printed that, apparently.
Did he now? Complete with all of the gubbins and ribbon cables but yeah, that's far too complex a shape to have printed, if you ask me, but I guess printing has moved on somehow. It's sort of a cool looking general impression, isn't it? With the big blocky Elysium-esque, like modern meets AK, but does it make any sense? Probably not. I struggle to find anything similar. So we've got an AKS-74U handguard and kind of front end, but not really. We've got a standard AKM rear sight block front trunnion, and we've got an AKS style buttstock. Best I can do is this. This is a rather dodgy Afghanistan-made, or probably rebuilt, I should say, AK with a hilariously wobbly stock, but it is in 7.62 by 39, which the curvature of this magazine would indicate, even though it's shooting electricity or whatever, and a short front end. So best I can do, not really very similar, but couldn't tell you what all of those black boxes and cables and things are doing on the side of this gun, or really how the ammunition works. I mean, it's electrical. It's got an AC/DC style electrical symbol for the ammo, but it takes conventional magazines pretty much. So are they gunpowder, like propellant loaded cartridges propelling electrical projectiles, or is there something else going on? I couldn't tell you.
Or even if it was heat based, that would not be very useful in the void of space. You'd want something ballistic, really, wouldn't you? Because that just wouldn't slow down. Whereas if it was heat based, the heat just disappear.
Well, I mean, I'm no astrophysicist or anything, but there is a problem with guns in space and heat because there isn't any atmosphere for it to radiate into, so the heat stays in the system more so. So cooling guns is a problem, whether they're energy based or combustion based. One of the problems with a true space gun. I guess if you're mainly using it in some sort of atmosphere, probably not a huge problem. But yeah, realistically, a dedicated space combat rifle is probably going to need ejectable heat sinks on its power packs or whatever they are, depending how it works. This is pure wild speculation here, but I still like the idea of an AK covered in electrical gubbins.
It's good enough for Elysium. It's good enough for Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I think Elysium is probably just as silly, but for me, they sold it better than this does. And certainly, like the wooden handguard, why would it look like an AK necessarily? Because at least in Elysium, it's a case of you've got legacy hardware, here's modern technology to like bring it up to the current era. In this case, it's like, I don't know, trying to shove a car in, put wings on a car and suddenly make it an aeroplane. I mean, people have done that, I suppose, but that's a very bad analogy. Please ignore that. Okay, a semi-automatic energy pistol that looks an awful lot like a Halo Magnum to me, but I guess it's a superficial similarity. A gigantic slide-looking thing on top. I don't know why you'd ever want a cutlass trigger guard on a pistol.
It's got that thing that you absolutely adore. It's a trigger guard inside of a trigger guard.
That's right. It's the Pimp My Pistol. Yeah, so, oh no, it is a slide. Okay, so it operates like a slide, but is also a replaceable battery? Yeah, curious. Like, again, how does this work? Like, why would you need a reciprocating slide for an energy weapon? Definite rule of cool in this game so far. There's some detail in there of the kind of electrical contacts and something going on the inside when we take that reloadable section off. I'm confused with this thing as well. So he takes the back of the top part of the gun off, but somehow the rear sight stays in place.
So it looks like...
Oh, it's the bit underneath.
There's like a piece behind the rear sight, so when the slide comes back, it covers it.
I see, yeah. So the whole upper part, it has a very large blocky slide, which is what it looked like. But then what you're replacing is the battery underneath that.
Yeah, all the slide moves forward and then comes back again.
But how? Yeah. So what's making that move forward so that you can then replace the power supply? Like, is there a button he's pressing to let that whole assembly? It's kind of needlessly complicated as a reload, if you ask me. And you are asking me, so I'm telling you. Paused there, and it's quite a sight. So it's obviously Space Chris Vector. Here is one of our vectors that you so kindly helped us to acquire. Second gen, so this is apparently based on a first gen with the old school kind of hockey stick buttstock, but it's pretty abstracted anyway. Like, if you overlaid this onto a first gen Chris Vector, it isn't just the double magazines that make it not the same. It's inspired by. It's not actually the same thing. And as with other Call of Duty Vector adjacent guns, there's no space for the Super V. I nearly said Flying V then, that's a guitar. Operating system in there. This time, because they've crammed 2 magazines into it. Built-in dual magazines provide faster reloads and increased ammo capacity. Well, yes, I suppose they do. It doesn't make any sense. You've got 2 mags there. Now, they are Glock mags on the real Vector. Like, it's the top half of a Glock mag, and then you stick on the Chris-supplied extension to bring it up to 30 rounds. If that was true of this, and I guess it might be, then that's just a flush fit mag that's attached to the buttstock. So you get a 17-round mag that's flush fit with the receiver, whereas on the gun you somehow have 2 30-round mags, or whatever the capacity of this is. So it's not kind of completely crazy, but only if this thing does take Glock mags, as the saying goes.
We dive even deeper into the weapons of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare in our Patreon-exclusive Extended Edition. Join today and you'll also get instant access to next week's episode 2. Becoming a patron comes with perks such as 1 week early access to videos, Discord access, and we have over 85 Patreon-exclusive Director's Cut episodes and a bunch more bonus content. Either way, whether you join the Patreon or watch along here on YouTube, I want to say thank you for being part of this journey, and now I'll get back to the video.
K-bar 32. A K-bar and KA bar.
K-bar's a knife.
Yeah. And there's a K-bar pattern bayonet, I believe, for the AR family. This is substantially more sci-fi, I would say. Doesn't appear to be based on anything in particular.
It's got the floating holographic optic.
Yes.
That you've predicted for the future.
Yeah, although still... No, that's fair. I can't complain about that. That's something I've mentioned a number of times. Just on the basis that if there's an ability to project something a short distance, that makes a lot more sense than having something that can be broken. Or, great big chunky framing that means your field of view is restricted. And I think we're seeing that with red dots already in the several years we've been talking to each other about guns, that they are getting smaller and there are more open-topped emitter red dots now, which is essentially what this is by the look of it. It's just that the dot is even, it's actually out the top of the emitter, or the glass, as it were. There is no glass. They're just, the protectors are there for whatever screen is, or laser or emitter thing is projecting the reticle. Still with adjustment knobs, as though they're iron sights. Might be a bit questionable. I think that's what I'm seeing. Maybe that's just the housing, actually. But they're reminiscent of backup iron sights. And there are 2 of them. Why are there 2 of them? You only need one of those to emit your dot or your reticle. Like, what's the one at the back for? Or am I confusing matters and that's a combined backup iron sight and red dot sight? I don't know.
If you look at when you're firing from the hip, the front sight seems to be emitting the hologram or the sight, and the rear sight might just be there to frame it.
That's absolutely what it looked like to me. I guess the charging handles I'm not wild about, because the sort of paddles that you're using to actuate it are facing backwards, not forwards. They typically face forwards because it's easier to get hold of them and operate them with the edge of your finger or grasp them or however you want to do it. If they're facing backwards, you're going to slip off if you try and just blade your hand, and they're going to be harder to grasp from the rear to pull back. Or even if you do the two finger old school AR cocking with both of them at once, it's not ideal. You're going to slip off. That's basically replicating the problem of the original AR-15 triangular shaped charging handle, which was slippery and not very good and got replaced very quickly. So that's a curious design choice. The Longbow. Bolt action. So bolt action's still a thing. Surprising number of zip ties on this thing.
The bolt is bananas. It's the grip.
Not literally, I take it. I mean, nothing would surprise me at this point. The bolt is a banana.
You don't have to take your hand off the grip to operate the bolt if the grip is the bolt.
Okay. Let's have a look at this then. Oh, hello. I see what you mean. Yeah. So I was thinking maybe the whole grip is the bolt action, but no. No, we're swinging it up, pulling it back, swinging it down again. I don't think that's a good idea. Especially curious as to what happens to the inevitable knuckle bow saber trigger guard when we do that with our grip. Assume it stays where it is. I mean, credit for originality. Ironically, long-range shooting technique in the intervening years has trended toward just resting your hand on the grip, thumb on the same side as your bolt, and then you're just reaching up and doing this. Even with semi-autos, actually, people don't bother to wrap their thumbs round the grip anymore. So that wouldn't be ideal for this, because you need your normal pistol grip. I don't know if that's going to be turn out to be more of a fashion thing or what, but it's quite common. It's because you can do that in a prone, accurate shooting position. You don't need to have your hand wrapped around the pistol grip. So whatever. But yeah, this thing, the whole grip comes up. It's kind of awkward looking. It is. This is very much in the territory of dressing up. Like, if this was a movie from the 80s or 90s or whatever, you would just get Remington 700 or something and stick some stuff on it to break up the outline. That's kind of how this feels, without being a 700 action. But hey, you got the funky reload. Interesting that they haven't gone like railgun for their long-range rifle.
I think that is an option as well, or energy weapons as energy sniper rifles.
I guess if such a thing did exist, you would still have ballistic sniper rifles in use alongside them, most likely, at least for a number of decades. Yes, I mentioned muzzle devices and assumed that was a suppressor. It's obviously not, because this thing's extremely loud. So it's just... don't know what it does, but it doesn't suppress. Maybe it suppresses flash, but not sound. And actually, again, in the future, why wouldn't all ballistic firearms have suppressors that were at least as effective as they are now? No reason to not have... well, unless you're literally just in space the whole time, in which case, famously no one can hear you scream or shoot. So I guess suppressors in space don't matter. But if you're in an atmosphere, they absolutely do.
Good hunt, you two.
Oh, hello. This looks like the Magpul folding submachine gun now, but is an energy rifle, apparently. And it's the double duplicated pistol grip that we had the other week. What was that one?
That was in Toxic Commando.
Thank you, yes. Yeah, well, they just duplicated the whole assembly.
Well, there is a good reason for this one.
Oh, I've just realised what it is. Yes. Detach.
Why have one gun when you can have two guns?
I have to admit, that is quite cool. We've got another P90 reload as well. But yeah, I have to admit, that's quite cool. I do quite like that. I don't know how it would work, But I guess we've got the conceit of an energy weapon, so who cares? I wonder if they were inspired there by some sort of mid-2000s. There were a couple of firearms lurking around. One had a pistol stowage for the butt. So you had a pistol in the butt. Another one had a Picatinny, a reverse Picatinny that you could mount a pistol on the front of. So when you went empty, you could detach a pistol from the front of the rifle. Neither of them made a lick of sense, but they were fun, I suppose.
It's hard to really tell, but when you add the suppressor, realistically, only the left one should be suppressed. But it sounds like both shots are suppressed.
It really does, yeah. The only way that it doesn't make any sense. It's giving a like space version of the Hollywood pew sound effect for both halves of the gun. They could have done it so that when assembled, the weapon is suppressed, and when split, one of them is loud. It's the obvious way to make that make a bit of sense. Oh god, another gun with a P90 reload, by the look of it, and another double pistol grip with duplicated controls. Does this one go in half as well?
No. This one actually makes less sense.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Oh, it comes in from the side. Okay. Very, very short sight radius there. Quite a busy design. I think you can get away with a busy looking gun in this sort of setting though. It feels like, I think the sort of design language of space as we know it tends to look quite busy to the untrained eye like mine. There's a lot going on, lots of toggles and switches and bolts and screws and anodized components and machinings and castings and things that look quite busy compared to terrestrial engineering. So if you do that to your gun, it's an easier sell than if it was a Modern Warfare game, say. So yeah, different textures, shapes, colors as well. You can get away with bright colors and mixtures of colors. I'm still a big fan. Maybe we'll do it one day, but the For All Mankind, which I'm watching the latest season of at the moment, not many guns, but when they appear, they tend to be white because they might be using them in the harsh, unprotected glare of the sun. I can't help but appreciate a good ribbon cable. Doesn't really make sense that you would design a gun from scratch that has electronics on it, and I guess it wouldn't need a ribbon cable either. That's probably outdated technology, I don't know. But having it on the outside where it could be damaged, it looks cool. Why wouldn't you just case that into the weapon itself? You probably would. I suppose, if you'd shown me this without saying it was a shotgun, I don't think I would have necessarily understood that's what it was meant to be. Probably because of the P90-esque magazine. Now that I look at it and think about it, and you can sort of discern barrels there, it sort of looks a bit UTS, shotgun-y, maybe bullpuppy kind of vibe, but it's quite... I can't really complain about that because I would normally complain about a generic pump shotgun being in space. So they've tried to do something different for their shotgun. So credit where it's due there. But it is an energy shotgun, which is kind of a contradiction in terms. Although I guess the point is it has the effect, like an area effect of sorts, and hence it's a shotgun, even though it's not a gun and doesn't shoot shot.
You're locked and loaded. Go get 'em.
So it's a kind of a DMR rather than a sniper. Is that fair? No, it's under sniper rifles, I've just noticed. So, but you can activate assault rifle mode. That's interesting. So something that has a backup mode that's a completely different weapon. Big old cable on this thing, and extra ribbon cables on the side, just in case you weren't buying that this is an energy weapon. Some kind of sci-fi emitter at the front. Okay, it's like a sort of, so side magazine that's actually a power pack. All right, quite like this. So it's actually a bit Doom plasma rifle in a way, in terms of the design of the front end, the blue energy bolts. And then we kind of intuitively understand that we're going from sniper mode to assault rifle mode because we're rocking the whole sniper scope out of the way, even though the rail is left behind. Oh, I see, because it's a bit like a magnifier. So it's clamped to the rail, but then the whole mount pivots. Probably not great for accuracy, because we're all very well doing that with a magnifier. You don't want to be rocking an actual optic out in and out of your sightline, because that'd have to be super precise to maintain at 0. But we're in space. We're actually fighting in space, which is nice.
Because it uses the same pool of ammunition, it looks like assault rifle mode just drains, per shot drains a little bit out of the battery. Sniper rifle mode. Big bolt of energy, lots of battery drain.
That I really like as a concept for a space rifle. Something that, well, it's just using energy, so why can't it do both jobs? Where I have to criticize a bit is they've clearly gone with M14 design aesthetics for the receiver, and there's no need for that. Other than as a housing for an iron sight, which again, I'm not a huge fan of on sci-fi guns. They clearly wanted you to think of, I guess, FG42 for the side-loaded mag, M14 EBR or whatever for the semi-auto sniper with a very M14-y back end that's very prominent. I mean, I guess they've started from the concept of the M14 EBR and gone, how would this extrapolate into the future? Which is not really the way to look at it, because the M14 EBR is basically the full stop at the end of the M14's history. Throw that away and make something new from scratch, or base it on a current era rifle, I would have said. But obviously the franchise has history with M14s, so... The Widowmaker, which is looking an awful lot like the Shitak, or Shaytak if you prefer, intervention. Very similar. That ventral carrying handle sells it, as does the sort of chassis design. We don't have one here, sadly. Danny at Cody does.
Yeah, in sick fall camo as well.
I know. That's such a flex. He really did outdo us with that. Fully earned.
I was looking at the scope, and to me it looks like a sort of regular scope with a PEC 15 elastic band on top of it. But the back, that green part looks like, I don't know if it's similar to a Russian thermal scope, but it looks like it's just been glued to the back of it. So it looks like a 1PN 140 or something, or has those similar vibes.
But this doesn't do thermal, does it?
I think there's an option, but so another thing you might be able to detect with the sound is that it's firing twice.
I did not detect that. Why is it firing twice?
It's a 2-round hyperburst, I guess.
How do you hyperburst out of a bolt action?
Because it's a 12-round magazine, and every time you fire, it's going down by 2, but maybe they're playing with the idea of a superimposed load and that those 2 rounds are behind one another. Yeah,
or a duplex cartridge. Superimposed is kind of a muzzle loading thing, but the cartridge version of that is a duplex or a triplex even. And from the 50s onwards, maybe even a bit earlier actually, people have been trying to do the 2 or 3 bullets in one case thing. It's come back because of drones to give you that sort of precision shotgun effect, basically. Whereas back in the 50s, 70s, it was about increasing hit probability for rifle fire. So replacing better training, basically. A bit like hyperburst, actually. It was another approach to very rapid burst fire, is just put more bullets that way before the soldier can mess it up by not being able to control his weapon. Does that make sense for an anti-material rifle or like a high caliber sniper rifle? Don't know. It's the future. Who knows? The Hailstorm 3-round burst ballistic pistol. Oh! What's going on there? Oh my word. It's a very futuristic revolver, isn't it?
It's like the RSH-12 meets Metal Storm in design almost.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess that's the idea. Is it's did you say triple? So three cylinders almost in line with each other.
It's got well, I mean, if it's the RSH-12, it's actually shooting from the bottom barrel. Is that right?
That does, yeah. Does this?
But the design has the sort of Metal Storm holes. Like that looks like the front of the Metal Storm, which I think they're just trying to, with the name Hailstorm as well, they're just trying to reference it. But really, it's a 3-round burst revolver. 3-round burst, 12 rounds in the cylinder.
Yeah, okay. So it's volley firing each chamber in a very long cylinder, effectively. It's not the way it describes it makes it seem like it's somehow 3 separate things, but I guess that's just the round.
If you manage to pause on a reload, you can actually see, I guess that would count as a clip, and you can see the 3 rounds behind each other, 4 columns of those, which does make the hexagonal chamber a odd choice. But it's interesting that you can see every single round backed onto each other.
I mean, it's still not doing the capacity thing, is it? Like, especially if there are multiple shots per trigger pull. A 12 round, big old chunky. Let's say it's super light, but it's still chunky. 12 rounds when your standard pistol these days takes 17 or 20 even rounds that you can control when you fire as well. It's not something it would have to have a specific niche of some kind. Maybe for like fighting in a vacuum or something, you could postulate that the revolver might be the way to do that. Although, yeah, mechanical complexity, maybe not. Maybe you'd be better off with like a Derringer or pepper box or something with a fixed chambers, electrical ignition. They wanted a revolver, so they made one. That's fine. On the plus side, you can definitely clobber somebody with it when it's empty. Ballista. Not the first gun in a game to be called a ballista. Ballista is obviously a sort of crossbow adjacent weapon. I don't think this is, although it is ostensibly an electromagnetic launcher, so I guess spiritually closer to a ballista. Looks like it has a huge magazine on the bottom. Questionable ergonomics for that pistol grip, I would say. And having praised them for their buttstocks, that's not a great buttstock. That's like pulse rifle, angle iron kind of ergonomics there. Kind of carbon fiber looking casing up front. Some weird shenanigans going on design wise. No trigger guard. So it's funny how many guns in the game have a great big giant trigger guard, which kind of implies you don't trust your shooter to not like mash the trigger by accident. And then this has no trigger guard other than just a sort of lump below the trigger.
You correctly predicted earlier a railgun.
Bolt action railgun. No real need for that, is there? Because, well, I guess you still need to cycle your projectile into the chamber, or well, not chamber, sorry, onto the rails or between the rails somehow. But it seems like you could easily do that with a motor or even with a double action mechanical trigger if you had to, rather than having to ka-chunk. And it does charge up, I take it. Which to me does make sense. Like that is sort of how real railguns work, in that you can have a variable charge. In reality, though, I mean, they're all experimental, but you set the charge and then you shoot it. You don't hold the button and release it.
Well, that was our trip back to 2016. 2016,
yeah. I mean, 10-year-old game. Looks pretty good. Is it, and has its prediction of the future? Has it been proven wrong? Not really. It was a bit silly to start with, though.
Thank you all for watching. Let us know what the games, movies, TV shows, or beyond you would like to see on the show in the future. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe. As always, a massive shout out to all of our wonderful supporters over on the EXP Patreon for keeping this channel alive, helping us to grow, and allowing us to continue making cool content like this. Links to support Jonathan and the Royal Armouries will also be in the description below, so make sure you check those out. But until next episode, I want to say thank you once more for watching, and I will see you very soon.